Civil rights movement of the 1960s. Slavery and racism, the moral sins of the United States, prompted the need for change. Civil rights movement was a nonviolent protest for human, civil, and political rights. Jim Crow laws of the South rebelled against the Constitution in regard to segregation, voting rights, and civil rights for African Americans. The media played an important role. Nightly news showed shocking video of peaceful protests. Men, women, and children were brutally attacked, injured, and jailed because they challenged the Jim Crow laws and white supremacy of the South. Many people were killed or assassinated during the civil rights movement despite the peaceful, nonviolent means of protest. There are many important organizations: the NAACP, the Montgomery Improvement Association, the SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Freedom Summer Project. Great leadership: W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King Jr., Presidents John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson, Rosa Parks, Edgar Nixon, Malcolm X, Ella Baker, Stokely Carmichael, Diane Nash. There are many more. These are just a few. Civil rights movement vs. Black Panthers. Martin Luther King Jr. His nonviolent protests were premised on an integrationist ideology in which African Americans would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. King followed the peaceful teachings of Gandhi. Stokely Carmichael. The integrationist goal of the civil rights movement was rejected. Black Power advocates believe that African Americans should focus on improving their own communities rather than integrating into white society. The Black Power movement followed teachings of Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and Frantz Fanon. There are many significant events. A few: Plessy's reversal in Brown versus Board of Education. Rosa Parks was arrested in 1955 for refusing to give up her bus seat, which prompted the organization of Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott. Martin Luther King Jr. led the largest civil rights demonstration in American history, with 250,000 people gathered together in Washington, D.C. to hear his inspiring speech, "I Have a Dream." The Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Housing Act 1968. On June 16, 1964, Michael Schwerner, Andrew Goodman, two white college students, along with a local African-American man, James Chaney, disappeared. They were later found murdered. Malcolm X was assassinated February 21, 1965. And in 1967, race riots erupted in Cleveland, Ohio, Newark, New Jersey, and Detroit, Michigan. There were a total of 66 deaths between Newark and Detroit, with thousands injured. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968.